Hottest music, wrapping up that 8 o'clock coffee mix on a Wednesday. It's 8:25. It's a Bill and Jessica show.
Good morning. It's going to be sunny and cold today. Wind chill values in the low to mid 20s in the afternoon.
And by the way, kids, again, a PSA here is that a hoodie is not a jacket. Just want to let everybody know a hoodie is not a winter coat. All right? You got to put it over top of the hoodie.
All right. Well, you tell my kids that.
You tell mine. Hey, we want to welcome live in studio a friend of ours, the CEO of Reawakened Mom. Is that your podcast?
Yeah,
Okay,
my podcast.
very good.
It's everything.
Awesome.
Yes,
Yeah.
Melissa Clampitt. Good morning.
Welcome.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm happy I found it.
Yes. No, absolutely.
I know.
Is it still as cold as it was earlier outside?
Yeah, it's very chilly. This morning I heard you talking earlier about somebody when you opened the door and then you thought, or you stepped on your truck thing and you thought it was broken.
Yes.
When the back of my trunk went up, it was cracking and I literally thought like I was
Like,
going to blast
oh,
no.
right
Yes.
on me this morning.
It's going to crack off.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Well, look, welcome. Appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
For, people who haven't heard your podcast, don't really know, tell us a little bit about what you do. And, you got a lot of stuff going on social media.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Reawakened Mom, I started that a couple years ago. I actually, in 2019, I did a passion project. So I had just gone to this convention with all these women, and so many moms had said how they put their passions on hold. They put things on hold when they had kids, just for good reasons. And so I did this passion project where I talked to women for every single day for the month of May. I had no idea how I was going to do it, but I started talking to women, and I loved sharing their stories because I think so many times as women, as moms, we can start to feel alone. So I did that, and then after that, I was exhausted. I don't know how you guys do this every single day, but I was exhausted just doing all the marketing, doing all the interviews, doing everything. And so I kind of put it aside, and then I really started to want to do a podcast. I love talking to people. Obviously, I'm here talking to you today, but I love talking to people. I love sharing people's stories. And as moms, I just think that we need to have that community of women sharing each other's stories and journeys and knowing that we're not alone and helping them not feel overwhelmed and things like that. So my podcast is just kind of where I do solo episodes and I interview amazing women to come on and share different things about business, life, what's been good, what's been struggling, and we do that. And then I do a bunch of other stuff too. So
Nice.
that's
neat.
the beginning. Yeah.
And you are married. You have you have boys.
I have all boys. So
Wow.
You're a boy mom.
I'm a boy mom. So my husband and I have been married almost 20 years, actually. This year is 20 years.
That
Wow.
is great.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Round of applause.
We still have to get there. It's May 15th. So we're a
I think you'll get there.
Okay.
Tell us. You have
I
to
think
tell
we'll
us
get
a
there.
good secret.
Yeah.
You know?
Gosh,
You have
I
to
was-
tell us something.
I was listening to your question earlier, and that's what I walked in, and I was like, oh, but I'm not made like, I'm
Yeah.
not made
built
for
that
that.
way
I'm not
for
built
certain
that way.
things, I
Yeah,
know.
but yeah, 20 years. So I actually have a 30-year-old stepson. He's in Philly. I have a 17-year-old, and I have a 14-year-old. So all boys, and we are into travel baseball. That's how I
Yes.
met Bill, and that's been my life
Busy.
for the last 9 years, basically.
And definitely a life. It's definitely a lifestyle.
life. You don't get it unless you're like
Unless
living
you're
it.
in it.
Yes.
Right, I
Well,
know.
shout out to the Delmarva Aces, and your son, your 14-year-old, played on. They played together. My son and your son last year.
Yep.
So they're boys, and we ended up talking, and you said you did the
Nice.
podcast, so definitely want to bring you on. And you guys all set to go this year with tournaments and all that?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Basically, like high school starts the end of February, so it starts
Yeah.
super soon. So there'll be tryouts coming up, and then the season starts like March 1st. So
Wow.
both of them will be they're both at the high school, so there'll be tryouts for that. Nick will be like going for varsity, but
Oh,
you never know.
gosh.
It's like just make the team.
Yeah.
Just make the team.
No, look, I do have to say this, and I'll say it publicly. Her son is a stud.
Okay.
Oh,
No. I mean,
Yes.
he was on the team. He was one of our top players on our team last year.
That is
He's
great.
a stud. Nick,
Talented, athletic.
look out for Nick Clampitt. I'm
Oh
telling
my
you.
gosh,
Nice.
that's so sweet. I will not share this with him. He will be so embarrassed. He's like, Mom, don't take pictures of me. Don't show anything.
look,
like, do you guys
I
have
mean-
the same
Yeah,
thing?
why are kids like that?
I
'Cause
already
we're
know.
so proud and we want to brag
Yes.
about them and share their pictures and how great they are.
I'm like, all
And
right,
they're
Bryce, and
all
he goes like this.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah, or the hands.
Yes.
How many hand pictures I have? I'm like, seriously, I just love you.
Yes. Well, again, you're a mom. You have your podcast. You talk to different women. So definitely, you do a lot of great things.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, if people do want to check you out, want to follow you, how can they do that?
Yeah, I mean, they can follow me on any social, like Instagram. I love to get on there and share stories. I was on there in my car before I walked in talking about you guys.
were?
And
Nice.
yeah, tagged you. So Instagram, they can just go to my name. My website is down for the day, but melissaclampitt.com, that has everything. Then you can connect with my Facebook, my Instagram, my podcast, all the things that I have to offer to moms. That's probably a good way too. So
Now, talk to me about this cold plunge that you're doing.
okay.
I know.
I know.
Today's the day. I don't know how you're going to do it today.
I know.
Yes.
I am going to do it. Okay, so this is how it started. I do not like the cold. So like in the winter, my fingertips and my toes actually will turn white. Like
Yeah.
I probably
Wow.
have Raynaud's. But I just really don't like the cold. So I haven't gone skiing or anything like that in forever. I don't know why I still live here in the winter.
Yes.
But it's okay. My toes are cold right
I
now.
agree.
So I've never actually done the polar bear plunge. I grew up here. I've never once done it in Lewis. And so my husband and I went on January 1st. I'm like, let's just go. He goes along for the ride.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike. But I was like, let's go jump in the water. Let's start the new year and just jump in this cold water.
Oh my
I did
gosh.
not want to go to the ocean because, again, that adds a level of like, you're jumping in the ocean. There's all these waves. I didn't want to have that fear mentality. So I was like, let's go to the bay. It's still going to be cold. Still the same effect. So we jumped in, jumped out. It was great. It was 50 on
Okay.
New Year's
Gosh.
Day. So
Oh
it was
my
a
gosh.
little
He
easier.
did it with you.
He did it
You
with
got
me.
him on board.
Yes. And then I was
And
like,
that's why you guys, you said you're going to make it to 20 years.
Right.
That's why.
Because he
That's
goes
why.
along
He
with your
goes along.
shenanigans.
we have some stories about that. Yes, I've been told no many times. When we owned the restaurant, I'd come up with ideas, and he's like, "No, Melissa, no," which is probably why it was so successful because he said no to all of my
Right.
crazy ideas. Anyway, so I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna try and see if I can go in every single day because I don't like it. First of all, it's uncomfortable, and it's something to try and like challenge my mind, right?
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I was just sharing before we recorded that there is this podcast that I just started listening to called Huberman Lab, and he had David Goggins on there, which David Goggins, if you look him up, he's like so fierce. He's out running, Navy SEAL, was 300 pounds, lost all this weight. Like he's a motivator. But they talked about this new research out about a part of your brain that is the willpower brain, part of your brain that actually
gosh.
grows when you do things that are challenging.
Wow.
So I'm actually growing my
Yeah,
brain.
you're getting
are.
smarter every time you go in.
I'm getting
You're
smarter.
growing your brain
Yeah,
even
but,
bigger.
but again,
I know.
today though.
I know today. I know. I know.
Wait,
I know.
what time are you going?
2:00.
Oh, you are. Oh, so it's set. You're
I
going
have
to
it
two.
set. I look at my calendar because if you don't put it on your calendar, you won't do it. It's like
Yeah.
anything, right? Like if you don't put that habit that you want to do or your you time
Mm-hmm.
in your calendar, you won't do it because something will come up. Or I'll be like, oh, it's too cold. I forgot my boots. I don't have a towel. Like all these excuses will
No,
come
like
up.
you're booked at 2.
I'm booked at 2.
Yeah.
To go down to the bay. So
Wow.
if anyone wants to come meet me, come on, Jessica. You live in Lewis. Come
Yeah.
on.
Right, that's what I was asking.
Oh.
I'm still here at 2.
See,
Oh, too bad.
Jess,
Oh, too bad.
Jess, you can leave early. You can leave early. Don't worry.
We can record it. We can
Yes.
I'm
put it
good
on
at
YouTube.
recording and
Take
taking
one.
pictures.
Take one for the team. Take one for the team. It's all good.
my
So, and do you put these? Do you like go live, or do you like record, or like how do you do it,
So
or do you just take
I
pictures
do a little bit
before
of
and
both.
after?
I do a before and after, so I do a
Okay.
picture for sure, and
Oh,
then I
gosh.
record. I've been recording on my walk down because I'm like, it's super cold. My fingers are already cold. Like my toes are already cold. So I haven't gotten to the point where I've like set my camera up and recorded yet. One day when I went out and couple girlfriends went with me, one of the girlfriends did record us jumping in. She was so good at that, but I haven't gotten to that point because when I get out, I'm literally like,
Yeah. Yeah.
And literally what happens, like I need to work on my breath a little bit more. I know that. That's why like one day I did
Like a
record myself.
breathing technique.
Yes, because when you jump in that cold water, like you're walking in, but like you almost forget how to breathe because you're like like so shocked. So
Yeah.
the first time I went in, I literally was inhaling as I dived under because I'm going under. I'm like getting my hair wet and like going
Gosh.
under.
Oh. Whew.
So I forgot, and
Oh,
so I literally
gosh.
inhaled the water.
Wow.
Versus blowing it out.
Your kids think you're nuts.
Yes. Yes.
Well, would they go down there? They wouldn't go down there with
No,
you.
I've asked. So one of my girlfriends posted on Facebook, and she's like, "I was telling my son that him and Nick should meet you down there because
Yes.
you're doing this." And Nick was like, "Oh, you're gonna force me to do
Force.
something I
Yes.
don't want to do."
You know what? You know what? They
Come
come up with
on.
these same thing. My son says, "Oh, so you're forcing me?" With the
He's
word
like,
force.
"Of course you would." He's like the time you made us do the snow challenge. I'm
Yeah.
just like, "Hey, I did that too." But it's so funny what these kids say. I'm like,
Oh my
I'm not
gosh.
forcing you to do anything. It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Right.
Fun. Look, we have Melissa Clampitt live in studio, the natural cold plunge you're doing this afternoon. The CEO of Reawakened Mom. You have your podcast. I want to talk a little bit about, you said you wanted to comment on the question of the day, so we'll talk about that coming up.
Yeah.
Also want to talk maybe a little bit of football.
Okay.
Want to talk a little bit about, you said you're a Scorpio. That's your sign. So we'll talk about that, what that means, because Jess is a Gemini. I'm a Leo.
Ooh.
So,
Fun.
everybody
Got a good mix.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like I was actually talking to my wife Tracy about this. She's a Gemini as well, about like what that means. We were talking about that the other day. Like, everybody has their horoscopes, but what does it mean to be your sign? So we'll talk more on the way. Again, Melissa Clampitt in studio. It's 8:35.
Give you what you need.
Want to send a message to